The big culprit we want to work on stretching first is our hip flexor group. These are very powerful muscles for running, hiking, and climbing, but they shorten passively when we've been seated for an extended period of time. So we're going to go ahead and start with a standing hip flexor stretch. Now I'm going to step my back foot back, my left foot back, and my right foot forward here into this little standing mini lunge. Now what I'm going to try to do is feel that stretch across the front pocket here. So I'm going to drive my back heel back and then push my hip forward. So it's like I'm grabbing into my wallet pocket and pushing my wallet pocket forward while driving back in through my heel. I don't have to squat real deeply and I don't have to overarch my spine. I'm just simply looking to push my hip forward and my heel down. Take a couple more deep breaths here. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, let's turn. We're gonna hit the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing, get into my little mini lunge, push my heel toward the floor. It's okay if it's not all the way on the floor. And then my hip forward. I'm trying to drive my weight back through my heel and forward through my hip. I don't feel this in my lumbar spine and my low back, but I do feel it right here into my front pocket. Here, let's hold for 10, 9, good, nice and relaxed breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good. We're going to turn and face straight forward. I'm going to bring my feet 2 or 3 times shoulder width here, and I'm going to work on stretching my adductors, my inner thighs. So all I'm going to do here is fold forward toward the floor. Now I feel that stretch on my medial hamstring back in here, as well as on my adductor, my inner thigh. Now if I want a little bit more and a safer stretch, I'm actually going to take my toes and pigeon toe them in a little bit. I'm not so sure you can see that in the camera. Now I'm actually getting a little extra stretch on the outside of my lower leg. Those muscles get really tight when we've been walking a lot, or for us runners and cyclists, we get that a lot as well. I'm going to take my hands and we'll walk it over to one side. And then back over to the other side. And we'll do one more each way, walk it over. And walk it over. Good. We're going to do one more standing stretch here, and this is going to be the first one where we use our yoga block. So I'm going to pick up my yoga block, and I'm going to place it on the floor way back here so you guys can see it. I'm going to take my left leg, I'm going to place it on the block, and I'm going to put my right leg right next to it. Now, I feel a nice stretch in my calf already. Now, all I'm going to do to increase that is I'm going to step my back foot forward and increase that stretch. Now you can see how the yoga block tipped a little bit. That's okay, I'm still getting a pretty darn intense stretch through that lower leg. Now if you don't have a yoga block, you can use a foam book. A half foam roller is actually ideal for this position, but this is what I had available right now. Good, I'm going to bring my right foot back to be parallel, and I'm going to keep my knees straight and bend over and touch my toes. Now, because I'm elevated on this left forefoot, I can feel a big stretch right through my hamstrings and my glute region right here on my left leg, but almost no stretch on my right leg. That's okay. We're going to work on both. And you can see my back is rounding. That's okay. We're stretching our back too. Good. Let's come on up. We're going to switch sides, so we'll do the same thing. I'll turn on this side so you can see it again. Now this ankle is a little tighter for me, so I'm not going to get quite as much range of motion here, so I'm going to stay back a little bit more. Remember, there is no perfect position for stretching. It's finding the proper position for your body. And this one right here is enough for me. Couple more deep breaths. Good, I'm going to step my foot out to the side, and I'm going to bend over and try to touch my toes. Now, you can see I'm keeping my knee straight here. I'm not softening that knee. If I do, I take a lot of that stretch out of the calf. It's okay to stretch the hamstrings with the bent knee, But when we're trying to get that total heel to hip stretch, keeping that knee in a fully extended position is going to allow us to get a little deeper into that position. Some people will say lock knee. I know that's a kind of a catchphrase sometimes, but here I am with my knee locked stretching. So I'm going to be seated nice and tall, and we're going to start with those hips. So I'm going to do a figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to bring one ankle up on top of that opposite knee and sit with good posture. This is actually a little low. I'm going to raise my seat. That's more comfortable. Good. I want to be able to keep my hips square. So being really low is not necessarily our goal. What we're trying to do here is make sure that we get that stretch across this hip where we want it. I feel this on the outside of this butt cheek and a little bit on my inner thigh here as well. So I have fully extended spine first. I'm getting a nice stretch. And then I'm going to round forward and round that back and try to touch my nose to my toes here. And when I do that, I get a much more intense pull across the hip, but this stretch on the inner thigh kind of goes away a little bit. Good, let's go ahead and switch sides. So now my right foot is up. I think good posture, lift the chest. That feels nice. I'm getting a deeper stretch on this right hip with the proper posture. Don't expect everything to be symmetrical. You're not always going to be even side to side. You may find you can even get into some positions on one side that you can't on the other. Good, let's round forward, nose to toes. Two more deep breaths. Nice and deep inhale and exhale. And one more inhale and exhale. Very good. Okay, for our hamstring stretches, we're going to use our yoga strap or rope. I'm going to sit off the side because that black doesn't look great with my black pants. So I'm going to bring one leg out in front, and I'm going to take my rope or strap, and I'm going to wrap it right up on the ball of my foot. And once again, I'm keeping my leg extended, and I'm pulling those toes back up toward my shin. This is called ankle dorsiflexion. So I'm going to then start to bend forward, and I'm reaching down. And again, I'm rounding my back here. That's okay. I still feel that great stretch through my hamstring because I'm keeping my knee locked out and really trying to pull those toes up. And you can pull one side and then the other a little bit more. Big toe, pinky toe. That changes that stretch a little bit. Good. Let's go ahead and switch. Good. Now I've got my other leg nice and tall, really working on that dorsiflexion. And then I'm going to round forward. Ooh, this side's tighter. So remember, when we're stretching, we're just trying to be a little bit better than we were yesterday. We're not trying to win the stretching Olympics. So you can see I'm not the most mobile person in the world, but I'm working on it every day to help improve my lifestyle as well as my athletic performance. Good, let's go ahead and... So how long should I hold any of these static positions to actually increase range of motion? Well, research suggests that 30 to 90 seconds is kind of that Goldilocks zone where you're getting the most bang for your buck. So doing these stretches 2 to 3 times a day and holding for anywhere from a half a minute to a minute and a half per position will increase your overall range of motion and decrease any discomfort that you're feeling in the regions associated with these muscles. That would be the hips and low back.